Hera needs no introduction, but for the future plebs who'll be watching this video on YouTube, just want to give a quick overview of his career. So Hera is a prolific AoE 2 pro and Twitch streamer. On Twitch, he has amassed 93,000 followers and 5 million views. On YouTube, he has
Yeah.
61,000 subscribers. These are impressive numbers for any content creator, and doubly so for a content creator in a niche category like Age of Empires 2. He has solidified his name in the AoE 2 pantheon by winning small tournaments and events and consistently placing at the top of larger tournaments, with his triumphant win in Hidden Cup 4. He is now regarded as one of the best and most talented AoE players of all time. And Hera, officially, once again, thank you for being on the show.
That was a crazy introduction, my man. Thank you very much for having me, man. I'm just excited to get a nice interview here, answer some questions, and have a good time. So thank you for bringing me on. And I like that you're doing unique content with these interviews. So it's really good to
Yes.
support that and to be here myself.
Yeah, and the fans, they love it a lot. Sometimes people don't even realize that they didn't even know they needed this, to
Yeah,
just hear people
exactly.
talk
Yeah.
casually. Yeah, so it's good. So let's dive right in. So how did you get your start in AoE? Like, what was your early playing like?
Yeah, my early playing. Well, I actually got the game because like my brothers are older than me. I have two brothers that are older than me, and they got into the game through like their friends, and then I just got into the game because I saw them playing it. So I started off by watching them play. They play versus AI, they play the campaigns, and then slowly I started playing myself again, AI and campaigns, and then only in 2013 I watched a video from Zero Empires on how to do a certain campaign, the Genghis Khan into China,
All right.
and because I was stuck on it, and then I found about Voobly, and then joined the online scene in 2013. So that's how
Okay.
I started to get into the game.
And at what point did you decide that you were seeing like a rise in your skill, and you know that you probably wanted to go a bit harder at AoE and try out becoming a pro?
Yeah. Well, actually, my first name on Voobly was Pro at AoE, but this is not because like I was any good. I was not good. I thought I was good because I was 13 and I was destroying the extreme or hardest AI or whatever. So I thought I was like the best player. Like wow, like I'm playing out of my mind. So I made my account called Pro at AoE, which is very embarrassing, very cringy. But I started out at 1400, and I think it's just like the passion for the game and just how much I like to play. And because I was so young, I had nothing better to do. So
Right.
like it kind of just became my life for a short period of time, and I quickly rose in level. I think once I got around like 2K, I knew I could actually legitimately make it to like the top level. But I always thought I wanted to make it to the top level from the very start.
Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm 21 now.
Okay, pretty young guy. So back when you were deciding to go pro, this was like around 2019, 2018.
No, actually, that was like 2014,
Okay.
2015. 2014, I would never say I was like pro level, but I was very high rated level,
Right.
around 2014 to 2015. And then I only started to find success in team game tournaments around 2015, 2016 with the Nations Cup. But I would say around that time was when I was not really considered a pro, but considered a very high level player. I didn't have a lot of success in 1v1 tournaments, but I was pretty solid in taking some games from Viper, Slam, Mysterio, the top guys at the time.
Yeah. So who were your like AoE inspirations around that period of time?
Oh, that's a good question. There's actually a lot that I took a lot of information from. So I think I just looked up to anyone that was really high rated. Like anyone that was high rated, I thought this is some guy I can learn from. But I think the guys that I learned the most from were Slam, Chris, Viper. I think those three I learned a lot from. But then I also had guys like Eddie, who were not as high rated, but also still like pretty top level at the time, who I asked a lot of questions, and he actually took the time to respond to me, even when I was just kind of like a no name. So yeah, I think those four I have to say helped me a lot. Eddie directly, and the other three indirectly.
Okay. Were you involved in any clans back in those days?
Um, I had a few clans that I joined. I joined the Jedi clan at first. There was a nice group of guys there. Some of them still play, and then I also I joined another clan. I joined the Wolfpack clan that lasted like 2 weeks. In fact, very few people knew about it
Oh
or know
no.
about it. Yeah, it was fun though. And then I joined Immortals clan. That's where I got the name Hera. And then I joined another clan that I can't remember the name of. But I joined a few clans until I finally found my way to Heresy and then AM, closer to like the 2018 era.
Yes, as you mentioned your name, Hera, you said you got it as being part of the Immortals clan. What was that about specifically?
Yeah, so there's a clan called the Immortals, which basically, when you're part of it, when you join, it's like it was an intermediate to advanced level players, and they had some few experts. They had like Slam, Hassan, and Ra. They were like the top three players there. Very strong players at the time, still are strong players as well. And they had a few guys that were like a bit more intermediate level, and I kind of joined when I was 1800, so a bit of an intermediate player. And you just had to change your name to something of a mythological figure or something
Right.
of the sort, and I chose Hera for no particular reason.
Okay, I guess it just stuck. That's just how it is
Yeah.
sometimes. All right. So you did have a lot of experience, brushing shoulders with other pro players at the time. And I think like right now, people regard you, if not top two, at least top five. How does it feel to sort of like, don't want to say surpass, but, grow so much in skill, pass on the ladder of certain other people that you would have looked up to or would have gotten crushed by
That's
before?
very, yeah, it's very interesting. I think this even happened recently where I was able to manage to break into the top 10, top 5, and it came out or it happened when DE came out, and when I was able to actually play a lot more games and take it a bit more seriously. And since I was streaming, I'd have more time to play, and I was able to make a push into that. How does that feel? I think it just feels like it's a good sense of accomplishment for me. Like
Right.
I've done what I wanted to do from the very beginning, but I don't think like I've reached the peak, or it's like now that I've gotten here, I'm good to just relax and stuff. I feel like now it's at like the place where um, it's so hard to improve, but there's still room for improvement, ever so slightly, like slight margins and stuff. And it's been an interesting journey, but I think we're in the most interesting part of it now that I'm closer to the top, and it's very very competitive.
Okay, so do you like right now not consider yourself to be the top?
I think the thing about the top, I consider myself to be top three players, just based on training performances and based on how I feel personally about my skill sets, and just like from an objective perspective. But I do feel like at the top scene right now, I say this about myself, I can lose to anyone in the top 20 on any given day, and I have lost to them,
Right.
whether it be ranked games or tournament games. I have dropped some sets or some games, and so it's always a matter of trying to be as consistent as possible and trying to put my best foot forward in every single game and every single tournament. So I think I'm top three as far as like overall performance, but like I said, any given day, it's very dicey and the competition's so high, so I never take it lightly.
Yeah. Okay. And so I want to talk a bit more about your tournament history. What is your history like? What were the early days of Hera playing in tournaments like before? I guess before even you turned pro.
Like you wanna know like the days of like the tournament day, how does that feel like?
No, before like you turned pro, I know you would have been involved in other tournaments and like in the past. What was it like for
Yeah.
you back then? Participating in
Ah,
tournaments.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I understand the question now. Yeah, it was actually really exciting back then. I would even say more exciting back then compared to now, because now I feel like it's more of like I have a lot of pressure to perform. I have a lot
Right.
of expectations that take away a little bit of the excitement, but it also feels more rewarding when I win currently. So back then I didn't really have this dynamic. I had no expectations whatsoever, and the prize pool wasn't like crazy high that like I feel like I need to win this, or it would be like life changing if I win this. Back then, I had no money, obviously. I had with just whatever I got, whatever I had, like few dollars here and there. But yeah, I would just find it really exciting to play, and really exciting to be able to participate. And the part I loved the most about it was being able to play on stream in front of people. And if I do a cool play, then people
Yeah.
would enjoy that moment, and it'd be like, damn, I did that, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
really like the I guess the fan aspect of it.
Yeah, well, I certainly remember a few tournament plays in the last year where we were talking about that for weeks. So Was there any like particular moment, like maybe a few years ago, where you played in a tournament and you were like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be winning these someday. Was there like any specific moment or match or tournament experience for you that kind of went that way?
That's a really good question again. I think in the past, I think in the past I didn't really have those moments where I thought like, because of this specific game, I feel like I can actually like do this. I had a lot of failures in 1v1 tournaments in the past. I was losing a lot of them because I just was not a complete player and I was playing against
Right.
people that were much more complete than me and I was only good in Han War back then. And so I would say that there was not any specific moments in the past where I thought like I can actually be a top contender. The only moment I can think of, and that was very recently, was NEC 3. I came in as a very clear underdog, in my opinion. I was just aiming to not lose first round, and I ended up getting second place and losing to Viper in a reasonably close series. And I think that was the point where I was like, I can actually compete for these, compete in these events, and I can actually, potentially win one of these tournaments one day.
Okay, that's pretty good. And and I think your first big tournament win, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it was Hidden Cup 4, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, nice. Okay, first of all, congratulations.
Thank
How did
you.
it feel, Hera? Like, tell us here, how did it feel to win Hidden Cup 4, your first big tournament win in Age of Empires?
Actually, the funny thing about that is that I actually think I got the best feeling when I beat Viper in the semifinals because I
Oh,
knew it was Viper and I knew on the other side was Yobers Jordan. So for me, the semifinals was the finals because the Viper, he's the best player in the world in my opinion and many people's opinions. He won the last three hidden cups. He kind of has this like streak that he wants to continue going, and I was down 0-2 in the set to begin with, and so winning that set, coming back and winning the 4-3, especially the last game being it like such a quick game, it was a bit of like a moment of shock for me, a bit of like I can't believe I just won, like oh my god, and I kind of froze for a second. I didn't really know where to go or what to do, but I was just like, thank God I won, and I went to tell my family about it, and it was just like a really really special moment for me.
right.
So that was like the semifinals. As far as the finals goes, I was in the lead from the start. I consider myself the favorite against Jordan, and although there was a lot of tough games in that, I think that was more of like a um, like I didn't have this feeling of stress going into it, and even in the series. So it was more like a smooth sailing victory for me. So I think the biggest moment for me was the semifinals against Viper.
Okay, awesome. And you have Red Bull Wololo 4 coming up. Do you have, I don't know, like, what are your feelings going into Red Bull Wololo 4? Is it a tournament that you've been practicing for, or that's sort of something that you're like, I'll enter and we'll see how this one goes?
Uh, I know I normally want to practice for these events and put in a lot of work. I personally for this one I haven't practiced anything yet. Like I didn't. I usually help people with the qualifier so I get practice myself. Dark, Daniel, those are guys that I usually help out. Unfortunately, I kind of let them down this time. I said, listen, I'm not really feeling it these
Right.
days. Just worried about other things in my life and streaming and stuff like that. So I said like not gonna practice in the qualifiers. So up to this point, even I haven't done literally any practice. I don't even know like the map pool, the settings and stuff. Um, but I am hoping in the next week. I have one more week to the main event. I'm
Right.
hoping to get a little bit more practice in and prepare some strategies to see how the tournament goes. So I would say this is probably my least prepared tournament in the past
Right.
year, but still something I'm planning to get some decent preparation in before going into it.
Okay. So like what major tournament are you actually like looking forward to? I shouldn't say looking forward to, but do you have in your mind as I'm gonna prepare for this tournament for sure? This is the one I wanna work towards.
Oh, I think that's a hard question for me to answer. So I would say like every tournament I try to practice and prepare for. Like even
Right.
Red Bull, like Red Bull 4, I'm not taking it lightly because it's a Red Bull
Okay.
tournament. I think it's a really high competitive tournament and something I want to practice for. It is that the circumstances didn't allow me to practice too much so far. I didn't have like the motivation. But I
Uh-huh.
would say even Red Bull World 4, I want to get a lot of practice in and I want to put my best foot forward.
All
And
right.
every big tournament after that, pretty much.
Okay. If I was to press you and say which is the tournament Hera's gonna win this year, like, would you have an answer for that?
Uh, Honestly, no, I wouldn't have an
Okay,
answer
yeah,
to
yeah.
that.
All right, okay, we move
I
on
don't
from
know the
that then.
tournament that's coming up.
Okay. Um, Okay, so I want to talk a bit about Twitch, because as
Mhm.
we, mentioned earlier, you are one of the Twitch stars of Age of Empires, an ambassador for the community. Um, how does it feel to, I mean, you're a pretty young guy, and it's a lot of responsibility. I don't even know if you consider yourself as having that responsibility. Do you consider yourself as having that responsibility as being an ambassador for the community and one of the representatives of Age of Empires?
I think I do, yeah. I didn't think so at first. At first, I thought like I can just play the game and stream it, and it's just like for fun thing. And if people want to watch, they can. If they don't, then they don't. And I don't really have any responsibility. I don't owe anyone anything. But as I grew larger in size on the stream and stuff, I quickly realized I do have some sort of responsibility because I have to, just not. I guess I have to represent the Age of Empire community in a good way and
Right,
represent what it is, which is a positive community. And I think it puts me in a spotlight, which is a good thing and a bad thing at times. Um, so I've learned over the years that I have to watch how I react to certain things and how to contain emotion. And I've slipped up a few times for sure. I think a lot of people have, and I've had some bad moments on stream.
right.
Um, but I think I've learned a lot from them, and I've grew as a person and also as a streamer and a public figure. So I always have a responsibility to represent myself properly and represent the community in a good way as well. And I guess show everyone what Age of Empires is all about: a healthy competitive environment.
Okay, yeah. And well, before this, I do like to do so like my research before interviews, but I knew from very vaguely, I think, seeing some posts in the past on various forums that you have had, some controversies, with just, you know, being a public, being a strange thing to say, I know, being a public AOE 2 figure, and, people sort of holding responsible for certain things. Were there any big slip ups in the past that kind of really made you think, oh shit, like I probably shouldn't have done this, or I could see how people could expect more from me? Any specific moments that you could recall?
Yeah, absolutely. I recall a few of those moments as well, and I think I think like a lot of those moments came from me not to be able to control how I'm feeling, like my anger and how
Right.
some how I feel during like intense moments, intense situations, and not knowing how to express myself in a way that's not damaging to others around me. So I'd say there's a few moments. I'm not going to go too specifically into each individual one, but
Okay.
each one of them I've learned from, and each one of them I recognize my mistake almost immediately, and I learn from it, and I try my best not to fall back into those bad habits. But I think these days I'm a much better person as far as like treating others around me and containing my emotions in intense
All right.
situations. And like I'm not perfect, obviously not, but I think it's gone a lot better, and I think those moments are key to help learn from and build from. Because I feel like if you don't make those mistakes, then never really learn. Especially if the camera was turned off in those moments, I might just do it in private, for example. And if no one calls you out on it, then
All
you
right.
might not even see how bad it really is. So a lot of the moments I realize on my own. A lot of the moments other people mentioned like, hey, this is not acceptable. Like you need to work on this and this. So it ranges from like small moments to pretty big moments. Then each situation like that, controversial situation, or just like straight up I messed up situation, I learned from, and I can't undo it. So I'm open about it. I'm open to talk about it. But yeah.
Okay. So somebody just subscribed to my channel to wish you the best in Red Bull Wololo 4. So thank you, Apple Juice. I know Hera appreciates the support.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
yeah, so it's really good to hear that you're open to owning up on your mistakes and just sort of improving as a person. That's a good attitude to have as somebody in your position. And I'm sure the people who it matters to will notice, and it'll pay dividends for you to just be able to have that attitude. So just more about like your Twitch career. So how did you always know that you were going to be big on Twitch? Or was it just always like I'm a good player at this game, so naturally, I'm just gonna
No,
be there.
I had no idea I'd do well on Twitch at all. I initially started streaming because same reason I enjoy tournaments. I thought I was a good player, and I thought I was a a very aggressive and very flashy player, and I want to showcase those skills to the public and see the I guess the public reaction and in a sense just to show off pretty much what I consider to be a good skill set in Age of Empires. So that's how I started streaming, and I also had the idea like um, I saw other people streaming, and I thought at the time streaming was just like I'm playing video games anyways. Might as well just play video games and earn money because I thought that's what it
Right.
was. I didn't understand what it takes to be a streamer and how streaming is way harder than just playing a game. So at first I'd say like I just played just because I wanted to show off the skills and potentially earn money, and I was pretty small at the time, but like also kind of big because I started with like 50 viewers, which obviously when you compare the channels that we have now, it's like not a lot. But if you compare the channels we had back then, I'd say that's a pretty decent amount where people were averaging like a few hundred viewers. The big guys like Viper90 were like up to like 1,000 or something like that. Whereas I was at 50 viewers, and I thought that was pretty good and it was pretty fun, and that's why I started streaming. And I never imagined I never imagined to break 1,000 viewers, let alone multiple thousand, let alone tens of thousands of followers, almost 100K. Never imagined that.
Yeah. Well, what was your favorite streaming milestone? Was it the 10K? Was it the 50K? What was the
Favorite streaming zone? Wow, that's a really good question. I don't remember the feelings I got in the early days of streaming because it has been a few years now.
right?
Um, I think I think getting the viewership that I got in the early days of DE, being able to break 1,000 viewers, because it came at such a big spike in viewership, I was averaging 150 to 200 before DE came out, and then to just jump to 1,000 and have so many people enjoy my content, so many people that came in new to the scene that landed on my stream and were able to, just watch and like it and comment and even we had a lot more people subscribe and join the channel as
Right.
well. I think that was probably the biggest moment for me as a streamer because that's when I knew like, dude, like this is actually working out for me, and it was very motivating and it was also
Yeah.
very fresh because I was playing a new game, so it was perfect.
Okay, great. So and I don't necessarily want to ask you like, oh, how does it feel to be the biggest streamer, one of the biggest streamers in AOE to Hera? It's such an obvious. Obviously, it feels good, right? But maybe just go into a bit about how you do feel about it. If there's anything strange there that you even want to like just kind of talk about that we may not even
Like
consider.
as far as streaming.
Yeah, just being one of the top streamers in your
Hmm.
category.
Yeah.
You're in the like top 1% of the 1%, right?
Yeah, I think if there's one thing I hate about being like in this position is the fact that every little thing I do, big or small, it gets like dissected and put under a magnifying glass, and it's from people that don't even care about me or know anything about me besides, a couple mistakes here and there, or just they see me as a streamer. So I think I hate how much people look into the smallest of things, and I'm all for criticizing someone for making a mistake, but I'm all for letting you know little insignificant moments, not giving them too much attention, not blowing it out of proportion. So I think for me, if there's one thing I hate is the holier than thou
Right.
um, kind of I guess mindset that some people have, especially the people who don't even care about me, don't even know anything about me, like I said. But that's obviously a very small negative side to streaming. And I think a lot of the things that come that I have in this position are very positive. And I think the biggest thing or the thing I like the most is being able to turn on my stream and have hundreds of people there that are ready to watch. And the fact that I have almost a couple thousand people every stream that are like live at the same time that come from all over the place that have all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of professions. I feel like I learn a few things every stream about different professions, about different things, and I think just being able to talk about what I'm interested in and what I like doing, other than AoE while playing AoE is one of my favorite things about streaming. And then lastly, what I'll say, I know I'm talking a lot about this question.
Yeah.
I think just I like to help people at stuff that I'm passionate about. So when it comes to Age of Empires, I love getting better and I love improving myself. I think I love helping people as well get better in their own gameplay, but just because that's something that I appreciated myself.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my chat. I know people are appreciating this aspect of your streaming career that you're talking about. So I definitely want to stick in it a little bit more. So in my experience, speaking with other streamers, I know that depending on the size of the channel and how the community works, some people are actually able to just kind of like moderate it into being like a healthy space. Have you been fortunate enough to do that for yourself as well, or do you still have issues there?
No, I think it's a pretty good environment these days, and I think I have one of the healthier streams, honestly, around when it comes to chats, moderators, and streamer kind of relationships. I think we had a lot of problems when DE first came out, and there's a lot of new viewers coming in, because obviously, when new viewers come in, not a lot of them stick around, and a lot of them just
Right.
want to say a couple things and leave. So. I think I had some problems at first, but nowadays it's kind of been filtered, and it's I think a very healthy environment these days for everyone.
Okay, well that's good. That's probably very good for your mental health as well.
Of course, yeah.
Um, I know you took a. Well, I follow you on Twitter, as you already know. And I saw the other day that you took a short mental health break. I think you were trying to organize a debate or something, right? I was
Yeah,
messaging you
yeah.
about it, and then I saw that you needed to take some time off, so I didn't message you again. But do you is the I mean I don't want to ask like what was going on, Hera, but is there anything that you think would be worth mentioning about that, or anything that
Yeah.
we could find relatable?
Yeah, like I think one of the main reasons for that is that I was in a position where I was taking the opinion of others too much to heart. Like,
Right,
there's a sentence that says if you're not going to take advice from someone, you shouldn't take criticism from them either. Um, and I think that I was taking too much criticism from random people who don't know me the
right,
slightest, and I don't know either. So I think I was reading too much into public opinion, and I think public opinion can be good if I ask for it and if I receive answers from those who I know have been around for a while. But when it's people that don't know me in the slightest, I shouldn't even give it any attention. So I was caring too much about what people think about me and what people say about me, and that was very unhealthy. So I stepped back for a few days, cleared my mind, and came back fresh. And even till now, I had mentality that I'm gonna do what I enjoy, and if people want to watch, they can watch. If people don't want to watch, they can leave.
okay. Um, so I no, I noticed you're wearing your Tempo jersey right now, representing. Big up the Tempo. So Tempo Storm. So this is the clan that you're in. Maybe just walk us through like how you got involved.
Yeah, it's a bit different than a clan though, because Tempo Storm is an esports team and it's more focused on content creation and representing the name on Twitch rather than a clan in game. So I would
Right.
say like the clan in game, the former teammates like the AM guys, Leary is now part of Tempo, so is myself. But MBO and Nikov and Hart, those guys are still people I hold as close friends in the scene and people I would probably team up with in team game tournaments should there be any. Um, and I have been playing with them in the past as well. So that doesn't change at all. That's like the clan, I guess you can say, for Age of Empires. As far as
Mm-hmm.
Tempo's the esports team, it's just a way to represent them on the streaming side of things, and for them to support me with sponsorships and opportunities, and for me to represent their name and to kind of bring other people from different different games, different gaming communities that are also know about Tempo Storm, bring them into the scene. So it's really just a way to create some synergy on Twitch and to bring new people into the scene while also representing sponsors and keeping Tempo Storm, the esports team, involved in the scene.
Okay, nice. So I sort of want to kind of ask you some of your thoughts on Age of Empires as a game. Um, so the balancing in the game is one of the biggest topics of discussion in the community. Every month or 2 months, we get a few weeks of posts after the dev nerf of some civ. How do you feel about the balancing in the game right now?
I think the balance is the best it's ever been, honestly. Like, I would say that despite or except for the new civs that were introduced, Sicilians and Burgundians, before those came in, the balance was the best it's ever been. After those came in, we've had like those civs brought a lot of imbalanced things to the game. So besides the two new civs that were introduced, the balance is in the best position the game's ever been because there's so many civs that are viable. Arabia random civ feels like you rarely get civ wins. There's always something you can do. There's still top civs that are really strong. Maybe a couple that are overpowered, but most of the civs have pros and cons, and I think it's more about matchup based rather than just one civ being objectively better than every other civ, except in the case of, like I said, one or two. So I think before the DLC came out, the balance is in amazing state. Now it's not so bad, but the new civs brought some terrible things to the game, like the Flemish Revolution is something that should be taken out as soon as possible. And yeah, and that's how I would say the balance
Y-
situation is.
Yeah, it's as soon as you said the game is in the best balanced position it's ever been, somebody immediately in the chat Italian lawyer was like, Flemish Revolution. So I think you kind of saved yourself at the
Yeah.
end there, because they would have had pitchforks ready for you, Hera. Um,
They would have done the Flemish Revolution IRL pretty much.
yeah, and I gotta ask, how do you feel about the Incanifs?
Inca nerfs, I think they're really good. Like the Inca Rush, the sending 8 vills forward in Fuel Age is not a part of a Civ's identity. That's just a terrible one-trick strategy. That's not doesn't make you get better at the game, and usually ruins the game for your opponent as well. It just where he doesn't have any fun. So I think those strategies, in my opinion, don't define the game and don't define a Civ. And I think Incas are much better off even without it because people are starting to play them properly and showing what the Civ actually has to offer. And there are some complaints that it's just a weaker version of Aztecs and Mayans, but I actually argue that they have completely different options if you really take the time to understand the Civ. Um, they play out more or less generically in the start of the game, obviously now, but when you get close to the mid game and late game, they have some very unique options that are being more explored now that the Vil Rush is taken off. That being said, I wish they get something something a little bit extra or something different added to them now that it's been nerfed.
Okay. And Age of Empires 4, of course, everybody's sort of it's everybody's sort of waiting for that to see how it's gonna turn out. I know some of the other pros have been able to um get to try it out at stages of its development. Have you been fortunate enough to be involved in that as well?
I know nothing about Age of Empires 4 more than
They
games.
left out
They,
Hera.
they
How dare
don't talk to
they?
me about anything, man.
How
They don't
dare
talk to me anything.
they? Okay,
It's
okay.
it's what it is, man. I got no information. So when people ask me, "Are you excited for AB4?" I say, "I'm excited. I'm as excited as you guys. I'm excited to play it when it comes out to learn more about it. But I got no inside information that makes me more excited. You know."
Do you feel at all salty that you've been sort of been left out of the conversation with the other pros with AOE4 and the developers?
I mean, not really. Like they obviously Microsoft, and maybe I heard they asked people to come test it out like 2 years ago when I wasn't really a streamer, like no streamer at the time. Or that relevance. So I don't take it personal. Like they have their own agenda and they have their own things. So if they don't see it fit to ask my opinion or to ask anything of me, then that's totally fine. I'm not gonna lose sleep over that.
Okay, well, let's hope they don't live to regret that, Hera.
Well, I'm
um,
gonna get rank 1 when it comes out, so they're gonna. I'm gonna be involved in it one way or another. You know.
so are you announcing right now that you're planning to switch to AOE4 when it comes out?
Yeah, I'm gonna get rank 1. No one else has the amount of passion to grind ladder like I do. We've seen it on
Yeah.
AOD. I held top 1 spot for months. I can get it whenever I want. Give me 1 week and it's mine. No one else cares
No.
about ladder like I do. So I think my competitiveness and my grind, I'll play 12 hours a day if I have to. I'll get rank 1. Calling it
Okay,
from now.
okay. Are you gonna switch from AOE to fully to AOE4? Is that a
I'm gonna switch
possibility?
it first. I'm gonna switch it first to see how it is. Try it out. Obviously, create content because when a new game comes out, a lot of eyes will be on the scene, and it's
Yeah.
a good opportunity for me as a content creator to put out content and get more people involved in the scene. So I'm definitely gonna play it at first. Like I said, I'm gonna probably grind to rank 1 or grind whatever competitive side they bring out. I'm gonna grind that and play as much as I can, and try to adapt and learn the game. I'm going to be at disadvantage because I've never played, whereas some people have already played hundreds of games. I think I could play the beta if I really did some digging, but um, yeah, for now I'm just going to wait till it comes out and see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, okay. And how do you feel about the recent Empire War switch from the DM ladder?
I think that's a very controversial moment, obviously, for a lot of people. I think it's a bit of a slap in the face to the deathmatch community, only because the timing of it came right after a big deathmatch tournament. But I think logistically, it kind of makes sense. Like, if there's not a lot of people playing deathmatch, then just taking away the ladder and replacing it with Empire Wars and still letting them play lobby deathmatch is fine. However, I just wish they maybe find a way to keep
Right.
the deathmatch community satisfied, because if the idea is, if the mindset is a small community doesn't matter, then AoE should be dead a long time ago, because it's a small community and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I feel like small
Right.
communities, no matter how small, if there's still passion, there's still people playing, you should give them that opportunity, because you never know where it'll go from there. So I think I wish there was a little bit more accommodation for the deathmatch players. Um, but I am excited to play Empire Wars because that's more up on up in my alley and what I enjoy playing. So I'm looking forward to queuing 1v1 random map and
Right.
Empire Wars and having some shorter queue
Okay.
times, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I like that you made a point that DM as a small community is analogous to Age of Empires itself as a small community. You know, it pretty much sounds like you would you'd be very good in a debate, Hera. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm not
Yeah,
connected
you're
to
just trying to
anything.
get me into debate.
I'm just throwing that out there, Hera. But don't worry that I just said that. Okay. All right, moving right along. What AoE people would you like to meet?
Meet. I've already met a lot of players at a couple of lands. So let's say people I haven't met from the AoE scene. Um, I think I'd like to meet Vivi. If there's
Oh,
one person I
okay.
have to pick, I want to meet Vivi. Yeah, I just wanna see how trolly of a character he is in real life.
Does
So I
Vivi
would
speak
say
English?
I don't think he speaks, but I think he'd understand a couple words
Okay,
at least.
that'd be even more
So
amazing, actually.
yeah,
If
I
he
would
can
say if there's
understand
one
you, but
person.
you can understand
Yeah, exactly.
him.
I think if there's one person I'd want to meet, it'd be Vivi. But there's so many others that I'd be down to meet, be it
Yeah,
fans in the community,
right.
and pro players as well.
Is there anybody in the AoE community you look up to? I mean, as like the top three, two, three, five players. Anybody you actually look up to? Maybe not just for gameplay, but anything else, maybe, you know.
I look up to Viper of how he's able to stay composed on stream always,
Okay.
and I look up to Doubt's ability to not care about what people think about him, and I look up to Lear's ability to put on aggression. So I think I see a lot of
Right.
positives on other people, and I try to learn from their
Okay.
best qualities where I can. Um, so yeah, I just try to learn from the examples that are set from others,
Yeah.
and I think everyone has certain qualities that are better than others, and I try to learn from the people who have the best ones.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned you look up to the Viper for his composure on stream. I did want to ask you if you look up to any Twitch streamers. I don't know if there's anybody else other than the Viper that you see on Twitch that you really like, oh, I really love what this person is doing, or like, wow, this is such great content.
I like a few Twitch streamers, none specifically that come to mind that I look up to, but I enjoy a lot of Twitch streamers from different games because I do play other games from time to time as well.
Right.
So no one specifically that comes to mind, but I always I always browse Twitch and see some nice streamers. I value unique content the most, honestly. Something that one guy offers that I can't find anywhere else. I think that would be really cool, and that's why every time I see in the AV scene something different pop up, I always try to support it or to at least like just watch a little bit and appreciate it because no one else does that. I don't want to watch something that one person's doing that 30 other people do. Like,
Right.
then just pick one of the 30. It's not special. So for
Okay,
me, I
okay.
value uniqueness the most.
Okay, that's excellent. Um, Hold on, just looking through my list of questions here. I got it. Did you mention you play other games? Roxy told me that you used to play League of Legends competitively?
Oh, and not
What?
still, but up until recently, yeah. Up until like 1 year ago, I was playing pretty competitively, yeah.
Yeah,
And like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I played really competitive.
I played 9 years of League of Legends.
Okay.
So yeah, so you know,
Damn.
they get like a special. I mean, I was never good. You know, I'm like a silver boy for life.
Okay.
But how far did you make it in League?
I peaked at Masters League.
You
So
in Masters? Jesus.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So that was my peak. I spent most of my time around Diamond
Right,
2. That was like the most games I played around Diamond 2, Diamond 3. Spent a lot of time on Diamond 5 as well when I'm trying to climb, but when I have a bad run.
right.
Um, I played a lot of games, and I played it with the same mentality as Age of Empires. I played to improve and to try to go pro. My dream was to play it and stream once I got Challenger, but it was
Oh,
just too
okay.
consuming, and I burnt out before I got there.
Did you reach Masters in League before you turned pro in AoE? Or was it like around the same time?
after. I hit pro in AoE around
What?
2016, like I said, like
Jesus.
pro level, not quite
Right.
winning tournaments, but pro level, top level. And then I got into League as AoE was a bit stale for me. The community was kind of like dead at the time or stagnating. So I played League for like 2 years, and yeah, I got to not pro there because it's not even close to pro, but it's a
Right.
high level, I suppose. So I was like getting good at the game, but then slowly it was wearing me down, and I didn't really like the streamers there were a bit too aggressive. The community was a bit too toxic, and it was just like I feel like I was becoming one and the same with them. So I had to just step away. I came back to AV community after that, and I was still pretty toxic around that time because of my experience in League. I think that played a big
Right.
role of it, of not containing what I type and not recognizing the consequences of what you say. So
Yeah.
so yeah, but I think I honestly consider it a really good thing in my life that I didn't go pro in League because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if I went pro in League, I'd have way more viewership, for sure, in League of Legends. Not pro, but like a streamer, like challenger.
Yeah.
And I think I would attract the wrong audience, and I wouldn't be the same person I am today. I might have more clout, more viewership, maybe more money, but I don't think I would learn the same things I learned from this community. So, because of what flies there and what's
Right.
acceptable there, I don't think I would have learned the same lessons I learned from being around here, to be
Oh yeah,
honest.
that's good. That's
So I
good.
consider it a blessing.
So I mean, I just want to point out. So you are one of the rare people to be pro in two games at the same time.
Juan
Congratulations
Franco,
on that.
I'm not pro in League. You're mixing it up, man. Pro in
Well,
League
I
is
mean, remember I was silver, so
even if you're challenger in
okay.
League, you're not pro.
All right,
Pro is like the
okay.
best of the best. So I
All right,
was
all right.
just good. I was
Just top
just good.
10% then. Like what Masters
No,
is what?
top one,
What is
top
Masters?
1%, top 0.5% in North America or
That's
something like that.
Masters?
Yeah, something like that at the
Come on,
time.
Era. Top
It's not pro though.
0.5%.
It's just
Okay,
good.
okay, all right. I mean, I have to take your word for it. I don't know. I'm just a silver boy here. But what would
Yeah.
I know?
Yeah, it seems like it's really high, but
Yeah.
it's not. The pro is another step.
I know League is a whole different realm, in terms of how their pro
Mm-hmm.
scene works. Um, all right. Well, I wanna, just kind of dive into, Hera the man. We've been talking about Hera the streamer, Hera the player. What about Hera the chill dude? Like, what do you like of stream, Hera?
What am I
Yeah,
like
what do you
off
like
stream?
of stream? I know it's a very broad question.
Yeah. I think I'm more reserved, honestly. Like I don't like to draw attention to myself in public. I know, like
Right,
on stream, I feel like it's me and it's my area. I can just do whatever I want, so I feel like I'm more comfortable there. In public, I don't draw attention to myself. I'm quiet. I just do my thing. I don't think I'm socially awkward, or I don't think I like panic in social situations. I don't mind them, really. I don't like. I'm totally fine talking to people, but I don't look like I don't seek them out because I don't really care to talk to people necessarily. You know what I
right,
mean? Like in public. I don't care to meet a lot of people or have a lot of friends. Like for me, that's not the most important. I think just a few friends that are really close and really good to me and good people in general is more important to me. So I'd say from a social perspective, that's kind of who I am. And then as far as like qualities or what I enjoy doing, it's like just spending time with family and playing games or watching movies. I like to play games, honestly, like strategy
right.
games, whatever kind. I'm a huge fan of that.
Okay. So well, you live in Canada right now, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I know like a few Canadians who told me like, I've seen her. I go to same university as him, or like I'm in the same area. How do you feel about people that's kind of like seen you in the street, be like, oh hey Hera, I recognize you from Twitch. Would that be something
Well, I've
that makes
never
you
been
like,
recognized me. I've
yeah,
never been recognized me. So if someone's saying that they saw me, that's kind of weird because I didn't see them. I gotta know which window they're looking in through. So uh, I've never been recognized, but I think it would be a nice moment to be recognized. But
okay,
I just, for me personally, I don't mind getting recognized because it's a small community. It's not gonna happen every day. I would never want to be like a famous celebrity that gets recognized everywhere they go. I
right,
think that's completely like that just completely like ruins your life. You can't go outside without being recognized, and it can get overwhelming. But I think getting recognized, like for me, would be kind of cool because it doesn't happen often, and it's never happened
yeah.
yet.
So you're officially saying it's cool for somebody to come and be like, hey Hera, what's up, bro? Good to see you.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I'm definitely
exactly.
gonna tell my friend this right after this interview. That's the only reason
Yeah,
I
if
asked that
someone sees
question.
me, but it's gonna be like it's
Yeah.
gonna be obviously a rare situation.
Okay, of course, of course. It's also how they approach you, of course, right? And well, you have friends in real life, I would
Hmm.
assume. How do they like? Do they
Bold
know?
assumption.
Do they like know you're like this big streamer guy?
Yeah, so I have some high school friends that I don't really talk to these days, but I
Right.
still like if if I ever run into them, I still like hold them pretty high up. Like I still like them as people, and definitely would speak to them. And they some of them know I stream because I used to stream back in high school as well. I stream a little bit, so I tell them about it, and they found me eventually. So and I've been in touch with them here and there. So they know I streamed from high school, and then from the friends in college. I definitely did tell them I streamed, and I kept them updated. So I'd say like most people that I interact with and like that are friends, I let them know I stream. I'm pretty open about it, and I'm pretty passionate, like pretty proud of it as well. Like
Right.
it's not it's a fun job for me. It's like imagine if I had because I've worked regular jobs back then, and I'd still be open about it, but there's only so much I could talk about, like working at a grocery store. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Right.
mind.
Yeah.
It's a decent job,
Right.
and like I'll talk about it, and I have some funny stories, but like I feel like the streaming is so much more unique. I can talk for hours about it, and I feel like they'd still be hearing something new every time. So, yeah, I'd say I don't shy away from it.
Okay. I had a question and like at the tip of my mind, and it just like slipped me. Oh God, what is it? It's so embarrassing when this happens, because I like to flow off of what the interviewer is saying, but I just find it so interesting just talking about, how your streaming life like affects your real life. What about your family? I know you mentioned before that you're still connected to your family. Do they know that you're a big streamer guy, Hera?
Yeah, in fact, my brothers meme it a lot. Like, it's sometimes like something would happen, and then they'd be like, "Oh my God, is that Hera coming in the room?" And then I'd just be like, "Dude, stop!" And then we just have a laugh about it sometimes. So they meme it like as being like fanboys, but my family's like they find it pretty cool. Like my brothers, especially my
Okay.
parents, are fine with it. And it creates some funny moments for sure. Every time I wear like a Tempo or a G Fuel shirt, they always like make fun of me. They're like, "Dude, like, can you write me like a drink or something?" So,
Ah,
so yeah, it's like my family obviously knows about it and they know the
right.
details of it as well. So, yeah.
Okay, great. And I was speaking with Roxy again, and she told me you speak three languages, English, Arabic, and
Yes.
French. As like a monolingual guy myself, I always find that so like mind blowing. This guy speaks like three languages. What the hell? How do you end up learning three languages, Harold?
So Arabic is my parents immigrated from the Middle East, so obviously it's in their roots. And then French because um, in I live in Montreal, which is a French and English. It's a bilingual city,
Right.
and a lot of parts in Canada are bilingual. So I'm basically forced to learn French in school, and basically just learn French and English in school. But I only use English to talk with friends, pretty much, or people. I barely speak French. I only speak when I have to. It used to be a lot better in high school because I speak more because I had like French classes, but now I don't have
Mm-hmm.
any French classes, so it deteriorated over time. But
Okay.
I still say I speak French to some degree.
Okay. Okay. And okay, so in your experience, Sarah, do people consider when you speak French, do they consider it like more what's the right word here? More smooth? Is it like Hera and smooth move when he speaks French? No, you don't
It's
get that.
ghetto. It's broken. It's you can
Ah!
tell I'm an immigrant. You can tell my parents weren't born here.
Oh
It's
no.
completely broken and chopped up. My French is terrible. So I've done a couple interviews and I get made fun of by the chat a lot as well for my French.
Ah, shuck.
But it's it's enough to get by, and that's fine.
All right, excellent. Now I didn't see it myself, but I was reading on the trying to read up a bit more on you on the forums, and I know you mentioned on stream that you from Palestine. So I don't know if you wanna just like talk a bit about, your roots as a Palestinian and, maybe a bit about what it means for you right now with, the geopolitics going on in that region.
Yeah, so both my parents were born in Palestine, so it's definitely a pretty close to heart area, and there's also a couple of big mosques there. Or yeah, one main one, and the Dome of the Rock that you'd want to visit, once in your life as a Muslim. So, yeah, it's a pretty close to heart place, and I
Right.
just wish for peace for the people there, pretty much.
Okay. Well, that's good words and messages there, Hera. But what are your hobbies outside of it? Well, I know you said you'd like to game a lot, but do you have any other hobbies like maybe sports, etc.?
I used to play a lot of sports, honestly. Like I used to play a lot of soccer, and these days I like like volleyball, badminton, if I can get back into it. But there's just no
Okay.
place to play those
Oh.
kind of sports, unfortunately. Yeah. So I don't play much sports now, but I like to be active. I've been trying to exercise a lot more in the past like week or so. I've started
Mm-hmm.
like doing a little bit more exercise, maybe 2 weeks now. And I found that really, really liberating and really fun. Like I feel good after doing exercises. So I'm just gonna do more of that for sure, as far as like staying active. And I like going for a lot of walks as well. I like nature. I have like I like just walking around in nature, like animals, insects, and all that kind of stuff. Only thing I really don't like is spiders, but
All right.
the rest I like to walk around, and just like look at things and just appreciate nature.
Okay, yeah. So the chat is flaming you here for calling it soccer, by the way. It's football to the rest
Baseball,
of
whatever.
us. It's football to the rest of
All right.
us. Okay, it's okay. It's fine.
You can have it as football, no problem.
Okay. God, I kind of threw me off my train of thought here, but this is why I don't ever wake up at 11 a.m. in the morning. Okay. What are your favorite foods?
I used to say pizza is my favorite food when I was young, and it still is pretty good. But nowadays, I'd say sandwiches. Like sandwiches with cheese, like melted cheese and meat, is my favorite. It's just so like delicious. So yeah, it's
Right.
just sandwiches. Pretty vague, but
All right. That's
chicken
fine.
or beef.
Italian lawyer in my chat is pointing out that you still owe your chat a lot of push-ups, by the way. So I think
Yeah,
you
but I'm
definitely
doing
need to
them.
get on that. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I haven't done any today because it's
Yeah.
obviously still early. But I did in the past few days, 160 out of 800 total. So I've been doing 40 push-ups a day, which I think is pretty
Okay.
good. I tried to push it to 60. I did 2 sets of 20. I'm trying to push it to 60, which is 3 sets, but I haven't managed that yet. But I am
Yeah.
working on it. I'm working on it.
So this is the second interview I'm having with a top 5% player who is like pointing out the importance of exercising to and all your overall health to and how they can expect to play, having a good experience playing or even improving at the game. So I mean, I definitely always want to put that out at the gamers. Look out at your physical and your mental
Hmm.
health. You're not gonna get
Very
pro or
important.
better just by staying in your basement all day. Kind of
Hmm.
like me. I try to go pro, but I never go outside and run or do anything. So I'm just kind
Yeah,
of shackling
exactly.
myself. It's all right. Um,
Staying active is very important. I agree.
any places you want to visit?
Uh, I think Europe. I want to visit some places in Europe, and then some places in the Middle East as well. Nothing really specific that I have in mind, but yeah,
Right.
just a few places here and there.
And definitely wherever Vivi is at the time. Because
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
gonna be
But
that
maybe
guy.
just for land events, not going to be like a tourist attraction, of course, but
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's about it for me for the prepared questions I have. But I
Okay.
do definitely want to get some questions from the chat. We did have some questions. I saw people posting questions while you were talking to me. I don't know why they think that I would be so rude to read their questions while I'm also trying to listen to Hera at the same time. That's not how it works, guys. So everyone who posted a question before, please post your questions now. I mean, I know you're streaming as well, so I don't know
Mhm.
if I could probably go on your page and see what your chat is up to, but
Yeah,
maybe if they could just jump over to me and just ask a question in my chat, I'll be able to see it. Now,
I have
nobody.
a link
Yeah,
leading to your stream, so guys, feel free to go over to his channel and just ask a question in chat, and make sure to tag him and ask any question you want. And actually, I need 1 second just to get some
yeah,
water,
you
please.
go ahead. That's good.
I'll be right back. Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty good that Hera left because there's always an awkward period where nobody's asking any questions, but I have to just kind of sit on here and look at and it's kind of like a look at the interviewee and be like, okay, so I'll wait for some questions, but I have nothing to say in the meantime. And I'm also on a hello. Okay, let me just hello Hera's hello Hera's chat. Yeah, it's I see. So you guys can see my full green screen setup here. Pretty lame. So in real life, actually a wedding photographer and videographer. So I just kind of I have a green screen, but the company uses it. So I just sort of made my own. I don't want to say ghetto green screen, but it's a little DIY thing. And the camera on on my stream, the camera is narrow. You only see this part of my body. But I know you guys could see like much further of the camera. There are people in the background and stuff. So we got a janky setup here today, but that's all right. It's okay.
All right, I am back.
All right, yeah, welcome, Hera. So I was just speaking to your stream for a bit there,
Hmm.
apologizing for my janky ass
Oh, no
green screen
problem.
setup. Okay, let's see. So I saw some questions in the chat. Let's get to the questions. Also, if you're asking the question, tag me as well so I can see it highlighted. So we got a question here from Movable. How are you able to press the right keys when you're going supersonic speed on it? So I guess they're asking about your concentration and your flow when you're playing.
It's muscle memory. It's muscle memory. Just your hand knows where to go. Same thing when you type fast. If you type a lot, I'm sure you start typing faster and you won't make as many mistakes. I've been playing for 7 years, 8 years, using similar hotkey layouts, so it's just muscle memory.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's pretty simple movable muscle memory. You want to get top 1%? Heritage give you the keys. So I have Stutter Dirty to Me has a question here. The gaming community is quite stigmatized by people who are not part of it as being toxic. So people outside the gaming community see it as a toxic space and bad for mental health. So as someone who is very much in the center of the gaming community, what are the biggest perks in terms of mental health or otherwise that most people outside of the community don't see?
That's a really good question. Um, I think it's a good place to meet people and make meaningful bonds as well, because I think these days you don't even need to see the person in real life to know so much about them. That I think gaming in general is just a good place to meet people and make friends that can turn into some meaningful bonds. And I think that's something that's especially in this couple of years with the whole coronavirus and the outdoor
Right.
situation, it's a really good place to get that kind of or to have that kind of option available. So I think like all the things, there's pros and cons to it. There's good and bad for the gaming community. I think it's a good place to meet people, enjoy a game, and have a good time together. And it's also a place where toxicity can thrive, and obviously the anonymity of the internet can get the better of people at times.
Okay, that's a good answer. Um, Master Turtle asks, how do you get your hair to be so beautiful?
It's natural. I haven't done anything. Dr. Squatch. I use Dr. Squatch. Shampoo, conditioner. Works perfectly. Exclamation mark. Dr. Squatch in chats. Code Hera 20% off.
Okay, Hera does give you the keys for good hair, I suppose. Excerpt asks, for Hera, do you think your personal life is better for having gone pro in AoE, or is the pandemic still complicating things for you?
Pandemic doesn't affect me as much as other people. I was able to maintain my job. I was able to, a lot of the friends I have are online, so I still have like interactions. I still can stream. Um, I still can visit my family, and I have close bonds with my family, so I can still spend time with them. So I was affected very, very mildly from this pandemic, and so I consider myself pretty blessed for that. So yeah, nothing too bad there.
Okay, that's good. Ajax the Greater 25 asked, when you first started taking AoE more seriously, what did you focus on at first to make you a better player?
I think I took it seriously from the start, man. I had this crazy mentality that I want to become good at this game, and I just craved information. Every time I hear some top player, some credible person say something, I try to understand what he meant by it and try to adapt into my game. If someone
Right.
says, always go 3 range C8, you better believe I'm playing 3 range C8 at every single one of my games. I'll play it 20 times. So I take
Right.
information and I play a ton of games using that information to try and make myself a better player. So I just craved information. I listened to what top players had. I asked questions that I didn't understand, and I got my answers. And every time I, be told something and I wasn't doing it, I wouldn't try to be arrogant. I wouldn't try to do the math and see if they're correct. I just take it for their experience, and I know they know better, and I just do it myself. These
Okay.
days, a lot of people, they hear me or other people say something, and then they have to do the math. They gotta try to question it. They try and prove it wrong. It's like, dude, this is not a game of math. You want to play math? Go to college. You can get paid for playing math there. Here, it's a game that's a lot about situational, situational things that math can't really talk about. Math is just theory, you know. Like obviously in theory numbers works, but in this game there's a lot of different I
Right.
guess variables that impact the math and the numbers. So listen to
Yeah.
the people that are better than you in the field, and just that's what I did. I just
Yeah.
listened and I adapted.
Yeah. Humility. That's such a good answer. God,
Yeah, pretty much.
I have the same experience here. I'm like 1250 right now, so I try to help other like newer players, like 800 900 elo players, and it's just amazing sometimes how you'd be like, oh, don't try to go commit elephant scorpions every single game, and they'll be like, no, the unit is really OP, they do so much damage, have so much. I'm like, okay, bro. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know
exactly.
I don't know what to do from there. If
Exactly. Like you're in a position to know more and have done more than them in this specific field, and they won't listen. So,
uh,
like, bottom line is, if you can't listen, you can't learn. So
yeah.
that's basically it.
So before I move on to the next question, I do want to, because this is, teaching other people is a passion for mine as well. I work with a education nonprofit in my home country. Like,
Nice.
listen to other people who are trying to help you, and if you know they're coming from a good place, you have to sometimes you have to trust. You have to trust an
Yeah, exactly.
educator. All right. So
Yeah.
next question is the Karama asks, how high is your chess elo?
1700 Blitz peak and 1950 Bullet peak. I've
Okay.
never played. I've never played to try and get pro in chess because it's just too hard. I have tried to get better in the past though, and I have played a lot of for fun as well.
1700, is that like, I don't know anything about chess. I was trying to beat a 600
It's,
elo AI the other day.
I think it's about intermediate to be honest.
Okay,
It's like I've been
intermediate.
playing chess for a long time, so it's not an easy area to reach, but it's not anything spectacular. It's pretty intermediate, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. I downloaded like the chess app like 5 days ago. I was playing the AI Hera, and I killed like all the pieces except for the king. And then the game gave me like a draw, and I was like, "What is this
Hey, just
BS? I won
stalemate.
this game. Stay. What is that
Yeah.
stalemate? Like, it's win or lose. I get no stalemate in AOE. Anyway, okay, that's just
Unfortunately, yeah, chess didn't get patched out. There's still a stalemate, unfortunately.
uh, anyway, moving on. Seven String asked, what
Yes.
approaches or concepts are common to many or all strategy games? How do you approach an unfamiliar game? I guess that's a
I,
two-parter.
I, I I want to talk about League of Legends. Even though it's not an RTS, I would
All
still
right.
say there's a strategy aspect to it. And I had already come from a place of like I was pro in Age of Empires, and I'm coming over to learn League of Legends. And I think the biggest thing I take from the game is I always watch pros and see what they do and try to mimic it. That's 100% what you do for every game, in my opinion, because you need to know what the peak is to know where you're at and you know which direction to go into. And then the second thing is I always look to see how I can play the most efficient and most optimal way. So in every game, there's going to be trades. In every game, there's going to be cost efficiencies. There's going to be tactics available. So I think for me, focusing on things that make me the most efficient and the most consistent is what I focus on.
Okay. Um, and Bugsy969 has a fun question here. How much has your curtains contributed to your success?
I think it became a nice meme on my channel, and I think that helped the early
Uh,
parts of my channel. So
right, right.
I'd say quite a bit. Yeah, I,
Okay,
I owe a
nice.
lot to the curtains.
um, Zaki here asks, when did Hera first lay eyes on the Hussa, and what happened on their first date?
I think that was a recent thing. Like I've always liked Hisar as a rating unit, but recently I've just realized how broken it is in late game, and it's just like the best way to play late game is just prevent your opponent from walling and just continue rating him. So I'd say recently I I found a newfound passion for the Hisar, and it's been in my mind ever since.
Yeah, okay. So Katie Pink, he didn't necessarily ask a question, but his comment on another question sort of brings up an interesting question.
Hmm.
And just to summarize, it was basically when you were speaking about, the how the benefits of gaming, other than just the toxic aspects, and how Age of AoE 2 is seen as by its community as being more wholesome than toxic. Maybe you could just, what do you think about the idea that AoE 2 is less toxic than other games, and what do you think contributes to that, if you think so?
I actually I actually think the main reason is the audience is older. I think part of the toxicity that comes in League of Legends is the fact that it's teenagers playing and it's teenagers interacting, and I think teenagers are at the point of their lives where They can't control emotion properly. They think certain things are okay when they're not. They get carried away. They take things too seriously. I can go on and on about what a teenager does that an adult doesn't do. So I think just having a general older audience helps with keeping it respectful. And I'm not saying people who play Age of Empires are old. They're just older than a teenager as far
Right.
as average age. Usually people in their 20s and stuff. So those guys are less likely to be toxic for sure.
Yeah. And Baba asks, well, he asked about your transition from casual to pro play and what you did to drastically improve. But I think you pretty much covered that previously. So
Yeah.
thanks for the question, Baba. But we will move on from it since it was mostly answered. Zay Kerma asked, so like in your friend group, are you like a legend because you went pro at a video game?
They gave respect to me for it, but I don't think like it's not like the center of conversation like too
Right.
often at all. It's just if it comes up, it comes up, but and they do respect me for it, but it's not something that's like a huge part, and it's not they don't treat me differently because of it. For example, it's just it is what it is.
Okay. All right, and let's see. Dr. Trollmeister, I don't know if I should read this question, but judging by that name, ask him, do you think playing Dota is part of what gives Leary an edge over most other players?
No, Leary is just intelligent. Leary's intelligent and he learns fast, um, and he's not afraid to test out things and to try it out. And he's also a really, really quick learner as well. So I think Leary got better at Dota because he was smart, and he got better at Age of Empire because he's just smart in general. So
Okay.
I think he has a really good brain for these kind of things. And like even when I see him think things through, if I point out something, he's going to be open minded towards it. He's going to try it out, and then once he's convinced, he just practices it and gets it down. Um, so yeah, I think it's a mix of competitiveness and intelligence that makes Leary good. And I don't think playing Dota or playing other games helps him at AoE more than just help keep his mechanics fresh.
Right. Um, Age of Noob TV asks, given that you've enjoyed professional success since you've gone full time, will getting back to school be a bit more difficult decision for you now?
Well, I think it was. I think getting back to school is never something that it's a decision. Like right now, in the next 5 years, I don't see it adding value to my life. I do think education is good, and I do think learning is great. And I didn't stop learning. I just stopped going to university. I want to make that clear. I still seek information. I still learn a lot of things about my personal things that interest me. But I
Right.
just don't go to school. I don't go to
Okay.
university. So learning doesn't stop. University did for me. I don't see value in going back to university as of now, but I'm open-minded. If I see value in it for the future, I'll do it when I need to, thanks to the rate farm beneficial. I'll go back to it if I see value in going to university, but if I don't see value, I'm not going to go back because then it's just going to be an inefficient allocation of IRL resources like time and
Right.
energy.
Okay. Okay. Um, let's see. Nectari asks, please ask Hera about his old curtains. I really miss them. Yeah.
They're hibernating. They are retired, unfortunately, Nectary.
Okay. Let's see. Looking for another question here. Team experience, so just chat. Um, um, right. When learning the game, who did you look up to the most when you were getting better?
Yeah, I answered this earlier. Slam, Chris, and Viper
Right.
for their
Yes.
skills, pretty much. Yeah.
If you had to pick one, could you pick one?
I learned the most from Slam, but I think Viper sparked the passion in me again because I had quit and I came back because I saw him streaming and it was
Right.
just like it was just fun.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, we access already. This is awesome, dude. Thank you. Oh, so Stutter Dirty to me asks, he saw you wearing football shirts in your streams. Which teams are you rooting for in the European Football Championship, and which team do you think
Uh,
will win? I don't know if
I don't
you
follow
follow.
any football, unfortunately. Yeah, I wear
Okay.
the shirt just because it's a shirt and that's it. So I
Okay.
don't actually support anyone. I used to follow, but not anymore. Sorry to disappoint. Not my thing, unfortunately.
All right. La Locura asks, do you see other AoE players to motivate, learn, study, or are you at the level where you could only focus on yourself, really? Or are you still like
No,
learning from others?
I think I think I still learn from others as well, and it's more of like a working together than a one-way teaching nowadays. Like for when I prepare for tournaments, I get another pro player with me, and we kind of work together to find the best strategies. So
Right.
I definitely learn from other people, but it's not like the I sit and listen to them talk and and learn new things because I'm past the learning the basics and even the advanced concepts of the game. I basically know like everything there is to know about the game. Let's say like 90%, but there's still like the 10% where it's like up in the air as to what's the most appropriate strategy here, what's the best response, and like kind of fine tuning some of the decisions you make. So I'm in the portion of the Age of Empires game where it's just about like uh, considering one option over another. It's not like I know what's good in this case, but sometimes I have three options and I want to know what's the best. I'm in kind of that stage where I can work together with other people to come to a conclusion, but I can't really learn from someone else something brand new.
Right. Bake Below AOE asks, who is your best mod and why is it Jack in all shades?
Jack and O'Shea's VIP in my channel, man. It's not even a mod.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So a little mistake there by Mr. Big Malo, who should know better.
that's why he's
Um,
not my best mod.
who is your best mod?
Roxy in the channel.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
she's OG.
All right, right. She was giving that story the other day about how she actually became a mod when she called you out because you didn't have any female moderators.
Yeah,
And then, the chat just sort of picked her to be the mod. I thought that was
exactly.
pretty
And I got
funny.
like three others after that to overcompensate. But yeah,
um,
that was true.
had a chat ask, how can noobs like us learn to take better trades? I don't know. Maybe that's too specific to answer like in this sort of interview.
I can answer it. How
Okay.
to take better trades. It's all about learning how to micro and um, how to take fights when it comes to certain units. So like knights against camels. When your knight becomes low HP, you run it back and heal it. That's one way. If you're playing archers versus archers, you hit them and don't get hit. So just figure out how to do those little things, and you'll be good.
Yeah. Fallon Mitch asks, what is your most hated map and why is it islands?
Islands, so boring. You have to transport to even fight on land. Water fight is stale. It's never gonna be fun. Never gonna be interesting. Galley is the only fun unit, and it becomes terrible when it's War Galley because then it's just a patrol fest, and you can't end the game because the resources run out and Vittoria's cancer. So that kind of sums it up, I guess. I can go on and on, but I don't want this interview to take the whole day. So we're
Okay,
gonna
very
just stop at those points.
yeah. Um, somebody's asking about a beautiful hair again. Uh, Zakuma asks, how happy are you to be able to stream? Can he ever work? I'm guessing, can he ever return to like a regular job after you've experienced the nirvana that is streaming? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, they
people
said
give
bad
really
English, but
a
yeah.
lot of credit to streaming. Streaming is great, don't get me wrong, but it's really hard. It's not easy. Think about having 3,000 people watch you and criticize everything, every little thing you do, and you always have a camera in your face. So, and if you make a mistake, you gotta own up to it, and you gotta like it's so like just that one little thing makes streaming really difficult. You have to always be talking 6 hours a day. You gotta entertain people. You gotta always be thinking of new things to do. It's so much harder than people make it out to be. So, can I ever return to a regular job? I personally don't like working for other people because I feel like the problem with that is that you get paid by the hour usually, and I feel like getting paid by the hour doesn't bring out the best work in people. But when
Right.
I'm a streamer, I get paid for how good the work I do and how much I do, and so it creates the environment that like the better I am, the more I get paid. If we're talking about money, and obviously if we're not talking about money, the better you are, the bigger you get, the more growth, the more exciting it becomes, and I guess that's the interesting part about streaming. So yeah, so streaming for me is a job, but it's not as easy as people make it out to be. And I think other jobs could be good, but I think for me, streaming is where I'll stay for a while.
Yeah. One question I did miss in the interview is like, if you have any idea of what your long-term plans are career-wise. I mean, you're a pretty young guy, so you could take your life in so many different directions. Are you
Yeah,
already like planning on your next steps? Or like if you
I,
think
I
AoE 2
can
is gonna
see.
pan out
So
permanently? Yeah.
for me, I'm a streamer. AoE2, AoE4, another game, whatever I'm interested in, whatever I like to do, I'll do. Whatever I can hold an audience with, I'll do. So I can see myself being a streamer and content creator for the next 5 years, if obviously I stay in good health, God willing. But for the time being, I'm not thinking too far in the future. I'm thinking more in the next couple of years, and I can see myself, transition to AoE4, playing that, then maybe going back to AoE2 or staying with AoE4 if it's a really good game, and taking it from there. And I think the important thing for me is to be open-minded and take opportunities when they come my way, but not to plan. I can't plan. It's just too volatile,
Right.
the
Okay.
streaming situation. Yeah.
Yeah. France Pants 06 asks, pick Civ to increase your elo. I mean, obviously Franks. Have your answer for that.
Franks is the easiest to play, but there's this like Chinese is really good too. Britons is like kind of OP as Archer Civ. There's a lot of different civs that you can pick that can that can boost your elo. Just pick a civ that you enjoy playing and practice a lot of it. Best answer.
Okay. Joey M12345. Uh, if you think Dot is like the head guy of the AoE community, do you
Doubt?
personally think? Yeah.
Nah. I think that's just one of the OGs,
Right.
but I think he's just one of the many streamers and players now. I have a lot of respect for him in terms of like how long he's been around and how long he stayed at the top, but I don't hold him as like the top guy. Although I think he's got the most experience. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for him, but I think he's just one of many figures and streamers around.
Okay. Um, Axel Hoggins Morgan. Wow. Ask how do you see the AoE2 scene changing in the next couple of years?
I think AoE4 is going to be a big factor to that. So if AoE4 is great, then I think AoE2 scene might suffer a little bit. But if AoE4 is not the best game and AoE2 still reigns supreme, I think what's going to happen is that a lot of people will come in, new fans to AoE4, and a lot of them will find and settle in at AoE2. So AoE2 can either explode or fizzle out in the next 2 years. However, when I say
Right.
fizzle out, I mean just like the tournament scene and the competitive scene. I think people will still want to play casually because it's been around for so long. It's not gonna die ever, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. Had Chad asks, can you tell us any funny stories of meeting up with other AoE2 players?
Funny stories. Uh, I think when Hart walked in the ECL, he was like super like tired and groggy, and we just immediately started bantering with him. So I think that's like initial like first impression funny moment right off the bat. Um, I can think of many, but I need time really. I can't think of too much off the top of my head, but
Okay.
it was like the lands brought a lot of good times, a lot of good moments for sure. The land events.
Johnny Ramoni asks, is the stale walling meta bad for the scene and viewership in the long run?
Yeah. If watching games becomes boring, then people will stop watching, and if people stop watching, then then the whole operation falls apart, right? Like it's like any other sport. If there's no audience, there's no game.
Right.
So if there's no audience, there's no, I guess, excitement around the game. Then there's no point of having the game. So like I think that for both the players and the fans, having intense action-packed games is a really important thing. And I think right now it's a bit too stale. And I think the maps play a big role in that. Like if you just have aggressive maps, then you can't wall up in time. Then it's gonna be a good game. But currently, like with the Arabia situation, the most meta way to play, the best way to play is just to wall early, and it's not exciting.
Okay. Um, Wire Vault asks, who among the current upcoming players has the potential to get to the top five in the future?
Daniel, he's young enough, and he's got the best skill set. And Dark is also young, and he has a good skill set. So those two players.
Okay. If not AoE2, movable 35x. If not for AoE2, what else would you have probably been doing?
Uh, that's a good question. Maybe I'd still be playing League of Legends. Maybe I would have made it there, and maybe I'd just be doing like school, and yeah, maybe I'd be doing Yu-Gi-Oh. Who knows?
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh!
I played some
My
Yu-Gi-Oh.
man,
You know.
my man. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Who knows?
Man, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh when I was like 10 years old. I I think you probably like one at a time. God damn, that takes me back.
Yeah,
Um,
it's an OG game, but I played it pretty competitively, but not like that
no,
competitive.
nice.
Just
Yeah.
yeah.
I can never. I always try like every 5 years to get back into it, but it's always so far ahead. I'm like, there's no way I can keep
Yeah,
up.
it develops like so fast.
Jeez. Okay. Anyway, Keltazad asks, do you prefer 1v1s or TGs and why?
1v1s. Less lag, more versatile. Like it's different. You can play 1,000 1v1 games, and each one will feel a bit fresh, but different. So for me, I just personally I feel like 1v1s are a little bit more um, diverse, and they're also unforgiving. Like if you make a mistake, it's on you every time. If you make
Right.
a mistake, it's hard to recover from. Whereas I feel like in team games, it's a little bit more repetitive. If you make a mistake, you can always wall install the game out. And if sometimes other people can make a mistake that cost you the game, or you can cost your entire team the game. So yeah, I think for all those reasons, I prefer 1v1. Although I still love playing 3v3. I think that's my second favorite game mode, and then after that 2v2. I think 4v4 sucks absolutely though.
Oh, oh, I hate 4v4.
Yeah,
That's my
too
favorite.
laggy. The meta is like it's fun when you play at like a chill level or even like at a high level, but no one's tryharding. But as soon as you get tryharding, it's team walls every game, and it's just a disaster.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. But 4v4s are
Yeah.
like actually my favorite to play.
Yeah,
Uh,
no disrespect there. Obviously, they're sick, they're
yeah, of
fun, but
course, yeah.
at pro level, they're terrible.
Yeah, it's only because I'm a scrub in 1v1s. If I was any good at 1v1s, I'd definitely be doing that. But you know,
Get better, man. You got this.
we'll see, we'll see. 19 Vortex 91 asks, it's a pretty broad question. Uh, what would Hera change in the world if he had one wish?
What would I change?
Yeah.
Uh, I think I would want to see a redistribution of wealth. The rich
Okay.
give to the poor, and the poor
Oh,
receive and build up from there. I think I think if the rich just gives a small percentage of their income every year of unused income, then poverty can actually end across the world. So I think that's what I want to see: a redistribution of wealth from the
okay.
very rich to the very poor.
Comrade Hera. All right. So Monk underscore 105, he wants you to speak some French for us. Can we get on that?
Bonjour, je parle français.
Ah, there we go, my man. There
That's
we go.
pretty
There
good.
we
Yeah, not
go.
bad.
Um, ESU Lavex asks, is Hera concerned about Viper's hair loss?
Am I concerned about Viper's hair loss? Concerned is a weird word, but I wish him the best with that. I wouldn't say I'm
Uh,
concerned, but I do wish him the best with that.
let's see. Z Kurama once again commenting, you have a beautiful face with a good hair look. I don't know what that was about. It's probably something we talked about
Oh,
before.
thanks.
I just thought you'd appreciate the kind words once again. A lot of
Thanks.
focus on Hera's hair today. Okay. Um, Shuki LOA asks, if you do you know anything about South America? That's a pretty broad question. What's that?
A few things, but I wouldn't say I'm like very knowledgeable South America. Honestly, I've never
Mm-hmm.
been there, and I never really studied the history there. So I know a few things here and there, but I can't really say I'm very knowledgeable.
Nectary asks, ask Hera about his Luigi cosplay stream, please.
Should be coming next week. I have to plan it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
this
damn,
week
nice.
coming up. I'm hoping to do it like Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see though.
I used to love Luigi in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. He had
Hmm.
the kind of way to
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Don't know if you ever played
Yeah.
it. um, somebody just says, "Hey, Guan. Hey, why hello there, 24." Let's see. Let's see. More questions. Oh, well, after the questions, we had just have the little mini game you saw me play with Roxy, and then we head out to
Okay.
the interview. So, we just have a few more here. We get through them relatively quickly. Well, I also have some on Reddit, and do you have a lot more time, Harry? I don't know. You're streaming now. You
I
plan play some
think
games after?
yeah. I think let's try to keep it in another 10 minutes because I do want to get
Okay.
some games in for the stream as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Let me put.
let's do another 10 minutes worth of
All
interviewing.
right,
But
great.
it's been fun so far. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put.
Just chilling and talking.
gonna put 10 minutes on my stopwatch here so I can keep track of my time. Let's see. Hera, right. He's asking if you didn't get paid for Hidden Cup 4. That's unbelievable. I'm not sure what that's about myself.
Oh, I did get paid now though. It came in a couple days ago.
Yeah,
It was just a delayed payment. Yeah,
yeah. So, okay.
that's sorted now.
All right. What does Hera propose needs to be fixed to make TGs less predictable in the current meta?
Uh, I think it's a really hard question that I can't really I don't really have an answer to it right now. But I think it has a lot to do with the maps. Don't allow people to wall. If you don't allow people to wall, it'd be a different meta. If you allow people to wall, it's gonna always be the same thing. So different maps,
Okay.
different portion of water and land. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody asked here, would you want the conversion time to be fixed? I'm not sure what that question is referring to. Is that monk conversion?
Monk conversion, yeah. No, I don't want it to be fixed. I think some element of RNG is good, but I think maybe closing the minimum and maximum conversion time could be a good solution there. But again, I'm not really I'm not really too vocal about that because I don't have the best solution.
Right. Obel Hicks asked, what YouTube series of your own do you enjoy to make the most?
I enjoy to make. Oh, I love making the tier list videos. Honestly,
Right.
tier list videos, sick.
Listen, Hera, every time you release a new Taylor's videos, I always make the same comment. When is the Arabia Taylor's video coming out? That's the only one we need in this world, my friend. The
I
1v1
really.
Arabia Taylor. Every month I want to see a new 1v1 Arabia Taylor's.
You want one like once a month? Just
Every
keep them
small
coming.
change they make in the game, I want to know how that affects the Taylor. Just keep that rolling. I promise the views are gonna come. Anyway,
All right,
okay.
perfect. I'll keep it in mind.
Moving right
Okay.
along. So we have we had some commenters on Reddit. I don't want to leave out the Reddit community. I did ask them a few
Mm-hmm.
days ago about questions.
Sure.
Um, Giga's Weeble asked about your relations with the Chinese AoE fans. I don't know if that's a thing. Is that a...
Oh, that's really interesting. So apparently I'm pretty popular over there. Apparently they
Hmm.
like watching me play. And Yo tells me that they call me the Black Duck there because Hera sounds like Heya, which is
Uh,
something like that. In Chinese means the Black Duck. So they know me as the Black Duck there. And apparently I'm pretty famous for whatever reason. So I'm pretty popular amongst the Chinese community, which I found was pretty funny. And also, Yo spread a rumor that he coached me, and like he's basically like my dad in game. Like he
ah,
he made it seem like he's like my coach, and he taught me how to play. So
ah,
there's that as well.
yo.
So I'm pretty famous in China for maybe the right and
Okay.
wrong reasons.
I thought Vivi was the troll.
No,
The-
Yo's like an intelligent troll. Like he has like huge master
Ah.
plots. That's in there.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that's so funny,
Okay.
man. That puts me right up at this. What's not 12, half 12 now. Um, from Reddit, Becca Baresi. God, sometimes these names, man. Uh, I can't keep up. Do you feel like you receive a disproportionate amount of criticisms compared to other pro streamers in the game?
That's a good one. I think I receive more criticism, but I also think I deserve it. Um, because of a lot of the controversial things I've said and done in the past. So I think I think it was just a consequence of how reckless I was beforehand with
Right.
my words and actions that now it's normal. But yeah, I would say yes these days I do. Like every little thing I does gets blown out of proportion. But like I said, I do feel like I deserve it in some way.
Okay. So from Reddit here, um, Ties of Fall J's ask him about deleting his TCs. I don't know if that's a thing. Is that another thing?
Oh,
Deleting your
I think he's
TCs?
referring to like when I resign, sometimes I delete my TCs. I think it's just a way to let out some frustration. Usually at the end of the game you have some frustration. Deleting TC is like a nice harmless way to do that. You just delete your TCs and just take it out on your base
Okay.
pretty much, and then just
Okay.
the next. It's just a way to let out frustration after a loss or a frustrating game.
Okay. Um, and Karnaza here, he has a question about quality of life updates that you think might be good for the game. The first being punishing Alt F4 levers. I mean, guess it's first to get your opinion on that to begin with.
Yeah, I think there has to be like League of Legends where if you dodge a game, if you auto for the lobby, then you have like a 10-minute waiting time. So the other person that you dodge can just get a game and he'll be fine, and you can't just continue dodging the same person over and over again, and wasting their time. So I think that's the first thing. And if you dodge multiple times, maybe increase it from 10 minutes to then an hour to then a whole day. Some punishment like that to prevent that. And also maybe just let people play what maps they want to play so that they don't feel the need to auto for is another option as
Right,
well.
right. They also ask about adding reconnecting as an option to the game, but I think we pretty much that's a straightforward. We all want that if possible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we want that, and we need better restoring for sure. Especially for tournaments, like the whole disconnecting and having to restart a game in tournaments is the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen, and it's super unfair to
yeah.
some people. It even happened recently to Nikov. It's just absolutely disgusting to see that happen at tournaments, and I want that removed, fixed ASAP.
Okay. Ghost of Yoda. So we're back to my Twitch chat now.
Hmm.
We got 5 more minutes. I'm watching the
Yeah.
clock. Is there any way to make Burgundians less broken?
Yeah, first step is definitely removing Flemish Revolution. Like that tech has no place in the game. And I think the second step is just to fine tune the discount they get from the eco grades. Maybe drop it down to like 25%. I don't think 50% seems like kind of a lot. And I think after that they're in a really good place. I think they have pros and cons to them, but I think making those two changes would be very reasonable for
Okay.
the Civ.
And Rooster Chuck asks, and this will be the last question we take from the Twitch chat.
Hmm.
And for completely selfish reasons, I'm asking this, to be honest. What do you think about laming?
About laming, I
Ah,
think it creates some nice excitement in Dark Age. I think the best balance to laming that I've seen is putting the boars at the back in tournament maps, like letting the boars spawn at the back of your base. So laming is still possible, but very hard. And I think that maybe making the scouts take 20 damage from the boar, so that if you get hit even just a little bit, you're gonna have your lame stop. So you make it extremely risky because it's an extremely high reward. And then as far as like sheep laming, I think I would want to see a change there, but I don't really know how because sheep laming is too free and happens and it's like too easy and it's luck based really. So
okay.
yeah, I think maybe a small changes to laming, but I don't want to see laming completely removed. I only wanted to see that like a year ago because laming was a way more broken mechanic there because you cannot block the scout properly. But now they fixed the blocking, so it's possible to stop the lame. But I don't want to see it removed, but I want to see it addressed in every tournament always.
All right, excellent. And okay, so thanks everyone for the questions. There are some more questions here, but we want to keep good on the
Mm.
time. So we're gonna end the audience Q&A. But the last thing we'll do for the interview is I got my little mini game I like to play with everyone. Are you ready, Hera?
Sure.
Hera, you ready?
Yes.
Remove one step from the game. Go.
Remove one stick from the game.
Yeah, 10
Goths. Screw that shit.
seconds. Remove one
Goths
unique unit
is
from the game.
one unique unit from the game. War wagons.
What's your favorite civ?
Anything with SR.
Okay. What's your favorite tech?
Bracer.
Okay. Trebuchets or catapults?
Trebuchets.
Would you rather fight one angry large boar or 10 angry regular sized goats?
Repeat the question.
Would you rather fight one angry large boar or 10 regular sized goats?
One large boar. I'll just run or something.
Favorite pro player?
Leary.
Favorite streamer?
Roxy.
Okay. Burgundians or Sicilians?
Burgundians.
Um, Joan of Arc?
Or
Joan of Arc?
no.
Okay. The color blue or the color cyan?
Blue.
Okay. Who is hotter between a Huskarl and an Eagle Warrior?
Hotter.
Yeah.
Eagle warrior.
Okay.
I'm
Uh,
racist towards Goths, anyways. I'm civicist.
um, DM or Empire Wars?
Empire Wars.
Okay. Nerf Franks?
Yeah, you could.
Okay. Regular nomad or land nomad?
Regular nomad.
Age of Mythology or Age of Empires tree?
Mythology.
Okay. StarCraft or Command and Conquer?
I didn't play either too much, but I'm gonna say StarCraft.
Halo or COD?
COD.
All right, my man. All right, there we go. I mean, there's no wrong answers,
Yeah,
so
of course.
we could say you won.
All right,
Um,
perfect. I like
and
winning.
you said yes to Nif and Frank, so you won in my books as well. Good job. All right.
Fantastic, man.
Okay. Well, all right. So we're gonna close off here. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you very much for Hera for tuning out, and I think we had a fun interview, a very informative session. We had a nice look into your career, into how you think about certain things, and the purpose of this series is we get it up on YouTube, and if anybody wants to see what AOE 2 the community was like back then, or just get a snapshot of you in this moment in time of your streaming career, we could go back and cringe at some of your answers. As a young 21-year-old man, when you're 30, you're gonna be like, oh god, so cringy back then. Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Hera.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, I want to say thank you. I think you're doing really good work with these interviews as well. Like I said, it's super unique content, and the scene kind of needs more of these. So yeah, I would say keep that up, and it's been a pleasure being here. And
Yeah.
thanks for having me, man.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the Discord call and let you get to
Yeah,
your stream. I'll tune in a bit
fantastic.
later maybe, and I'm gonna rate, I think Hamza Krumza, uh,
All right.
upcoming pro player that I like to follow. All right, thank you,
Yes,
Hera. Take
he's
care.
solid. Thank you very much. Take care and have a good one. Bye bye.